Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. This is the Porter County Board of Commissioners meeting on November 5th, 2019. It is Election Day for municipals. We'll move right into consent agenda. Melanie, please read that out for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Approval of payroll, October 18th and November 1st, 2019. Approval of minutes, October 8th, 2019. Approval of claims, October 10th, October 17th, October 24th, and October 30th, 2019. Treasurer's monthly report filed, September 30th, 2019. Weights and measures reports filed, August 16th and September 15th, 2019. Weights and measures report filed September 16th to October 15th, 2019.
Okay. And then we'll move right into Artistic Services Agreement. Laura, you want to go ahead and read those?
Do I need to read all the names, or can I just...
As noted per the agenda?
Yep.
As noted per the agenda.
The 23 Artistic Services Agreements as noted per the agenda. And then we have a venue rental agreement, nonprofit, with the Shirley Hines Land Trust.
Okay, that is the consent agenda. I'll throw it to the board for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. We're going to get into announcements. First of all, just announcing for the Redevelopment Commission that met last week or the week before. I think it was last week. The week before last, the Regional Development Corporation approved the construction of the new substation in South Haven on 700 North. And that will be, I think the contract was around $1.4 million, roughly thereabouts, and we'll be building a sub-garage up there for highway stormwater. So when we're in South Haven and snow plowing and doing work up there and other things, we now have a place up in that area to work out of. Our other county garages are quite far from South Haven, either the Valpo garage or the Chesterton garage are quite a ways away. This was a piece of property that the county had owned already, so we're just repurposing it and going to put it to use so we can serve the citizens of South Haven much better than we've had in the past. So I just wanted to make that announcement. We're very proud of that. This is a continued effort to re-energize the South Haven area with drainage and services that the unincorporated county is to provide for that area. So it's an ongoing project up there, but this is another piece of that puzzle. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that announcement that the Redevelopment Commission is doing. And we're going to be, over the last 3 years, the Redevelopment Commission has carved out enough money out of the commissioners' budgets to be able to fund this garage. So it will be fully funded. We have the money in the bank now, and we can build it. So I just wanted to make that clear, too. That's how we're going to fund it.
Yep, the two sources were lit funds, or local income tax, and the money from the hospital abatement, tax abatement. Yep.
So that's the only announcement that I have at this point. We're going to move right into old business. We have the Northern Indiana Atheists. We have Troy Moss, Director. This is a request to use the courthouse grounds on Friday, December 6th from 5 to 8 to decorate for the community holiday celebration. They are asking for approval to set up their holiday display, two NIA signs and an information table. And then we also have a second request now that they've requested to have 2 volunteers stationed near the southern courthouse door to talk to people about Northern Indiana Atheists. We would like to request the same dates, times, equipment as Courtside Ministries is asking for. I'll turn that over to Attorney McClure.
On the first request for December 6th, which corner would you like of the courthouse grounds? What quadrant? So the only place you can't be is the secured zones. The off-limits places for judges' secured lot and the landing pad, and the prisoner pick up and drop off. Other than that, pick a corner.
That's the area that's the northeast corner and the middle of the southwest and southeast corners that are blocked off with the slashes? Okay.
Yep, that's where the judge's parking is, the actual front entrance, and where the prisoner pick up and drop off is. The map's oriented north.
Southeast.
Okay. Need a motion.
Motion to approve southeast corner.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the southeast corner for the Northern Indiana Atheist for December 6th, 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. And then,
On request number 2, I would suggest, as in the last meeting, that we approve them with the same approval that we gave the courtside ministries, which is stay out of the secured areas, stay off the landing pad right outside the main entrance. If you want to be on the sidewalk that's in yellow, you have to go to the city of Valparaiso for that approval. It's their sidewalk, not ours. And
We don't want to be anywhere that they're not allowed to be either.
yeah, I understand.
yeah,
I'm just, and same conditions as they have. Can't approach anyone. You put your table up, and whoever would like to talk to you can talk to you.
Thank you.
We need a motion to that
Motion.
effect.
Motion to approve.
we have a motion and a second for 2 volunteers to be stationed at the southern courthouse door in the, maybe I shouldn't,
With the same
with the same
stipulations.
stipulation as Courtside Ministries for the Northern Indiana Atheists. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, that's right. That's new business. Next up, we have Commissioners, Kurt Ellis is going to give us a little bit of a presentation on our newly launched website that went live last week. Is that correct, Kurt? What was it? The 24th of October. So, Kurt, we'll give you a few minutes here to show everybody what we're up to now. Thank you.
I thought I'd give us a reminder of where we were at.
Yep.
And as you can see, when this site was launched, it was probably the best technology out there, but it has grown dated over the years. Civic Plus, our website host, in our contract, we had a free upgrade to their new platform, so the overall cost to us was nothing. We did pay for a couple extra things to clean up and convert our content and to do some content optimization, but overall, this saved us about $8,000 or $9,000 because we had that in the contract. The menus on this old site were very limited. If you were checking from a mobile device, you might as well forget it because it was almost impossible to find whatever you need. We did have an app on that old site. The app is going away because we don't need it anymore, because now we have a mobile-friendly, mobile-responsive site where you can see how it looks like on a mobile device, if I can shrink this window anymore. Oh, there it is. That's the mobile view of the new website. On the home page, we did a lot of changes we identified those things on the old site that people went to the most. The highest were always property taxes, elections, and GIS. So we have those things prominently featured on the home page. We have GIS maps, we have property taxes, we have the county assessor. Down below, we have elections and voting. And then, of course, we've got these news flashes now where we can highlight specific items that are coming up or news that we want to get out And again, you'll see that the first two categories are concentrating on property taxes and elections right now. We also restructured our menus. The old menu just came and listed departments A through Z. Well, a lot of people who don't visit our site often don't know what department does what. So what we did was we structured the menu by categories. We still have the old A to Z list, but we broke it down into categories, such as county government, governance, county administration, finance and real estate, health and environment, development and stormwaters, election and registration, property tax portal. So it makes it just easier and more intuitive for people to find. In the next menu, we focused it down even a little bit farther. Well, our internet, there we go.
What's going on? It was a good website.
It was. The website's still there. Our internet is apparently acting up a little bit. Let me try it again. Nope. It's off down there.
Everybody's looking at that.
Yeah, well, it figures.
We can come back, Kurt.
Okay. What I'd like to do
Yes.
is though, maybe address the policy issue that I put before you on maintaining the county website. Our old website, we kind of had a policy, and it was an experiment, where we let each department update their own page content. I would put to you it was an experiment that didn't work real well. And we ran into a lot of problems with the conversion over the new site, is in that a lot of the content that was on the old site was not ADA compliant.
No.
People with visual impairments have readers that read things to them on there, and the content that we had on there, the way it was formatted, was not ADA compliant, so those people could not access information on our website. We want to maintain consistent formatting throughout the site. We want to continue to improve the content so that it's mobile responsive, so that it when you shrink the window to a mobile content, you have to scroll a lot. If you have a lot of content on one page, you end up scrolling forever and ever. We want to find ways to break things down into smaller categories so that they're easy to read and easy to respond to. Want to reduce the use of dated materials. We had a lot of pages out there that had this date and that date, and those dates had expired, and nobody ever went back to change them. And we want to integrate more our modules into the page content. We have these modules called the calendars, agendas, minutes, etc., where in a lot of cases we're going back and putting on there specific meeting dates on the pages, specific links to agendas, etc. Well, what we've done is, rather than having to list that on the page, we've taken these modules and imported them to the pages. So this is the commissioners, this is our agendas and minutes. All Kathy has to do now is upload an agenda or minutes into the agenda center, and it's right there for the people to look at. We don't have to go in and make changes on the pages all the time. The same thing on meetings, where if we have our meetings on our commissioner's calendar, people can click on that link, and it will show them upcoming meetings of the Board of Commissioners. No more it's automatic. So we want to make this as easy as possible to maintain the content on pages by utilizing these modules better. We have to do some things differently. A lot of times in the past, we were uploading documents that were scanned documents. Scanned documents are not ADA compliant because they cannot be read by a reader. So we now have to take our Word documents or Excel documents, convert them to a PDF, and upload them. This is going to take some time to do because, I mean, for example, the campaign finance reports, all of those are turned in. A lot of them are handwritten. The only way I have them get them out there is by scanning them. But we're working with Jessica to find ways that maybe we can do that better in the future. But what I'd like to do is continue our improvement in ADA compliance. We're not going to get there overnight. It's going to take some time, but I think we need to maintain a very strong focus on that as well.
Yep.
And we want to make sure, the other problem that we ran into, there was content on there, specifically images that people just kind of pulled off the internet and put them on our website. Well, we are not authorized to use that content. And we have to be more careful in what we use on images to make sure it's stuff that we have the right to use. And finally, we want to maintain those homepage menus and keep them as interactive with the public as possible. So what we're proposing is that the IT department will continue to control the who has access and modify those permissions upon approval by the commissioner's designee. In other words, if they want to add, if a department wants to add somebody new, that's fine, but I want to make sure they're trained in how to do it first. So once we go through those trainings, I can tell IT, go ahead and do that. Departments, the designees in each department will only have access to maintain those modules. The our activities, agenda center, archive center, bid postings, calendars, document center, facilities, et cetera, which we are importing to the pages. And then any content on the actual pages would then have to come through the commissioner's office to build, edit, or maintain. So that's what I'm proposing to you as a policy. I mean, we did a lot of cleanup work, but I want to be sure that we continue that.
But like we've done up here on everything else, once we've cleaned it up, we got to put standards in place because we want to maintain a consistent image out there for the county. We want to make sure we're ADA compliant, right? And so it will be, this new website will be, have a lot more oversight than the last one, and we're starting just to let all the different departments know. Don't fight us. We're doing this for the good of everybody and to try and make sure that we, aren't in error doing anything illegal or wrong. And as you open up these websites, these are the type of things you get into. It's not, as you can see, it's not all about design. There's a lot of other things that go into this. One of the other things that I'm very proud of as we're coming out of this end is this board made the decision about 7 months ago to add the analytic package to this website. And what this will allow us to do now is we can go in and we can look at our hits, we can look at where the traffic is going, if we can see certain traffic going to certain departments or whatever, those are the areas that we can look at, we can enhance, we can try to make better. The analytics piece will have a large part of how we develop this website, but we now have data. So we'll know where we need to enhance the website, we'll know by the hits, we'll know where we need to go, where we need to continue to get better, where we need to continue to be more robust so that the user can get in and find their way and get them the information that they want. So, and last, I'd like to just thank Kurt. If the county would have gone out and done this with a third party, we'd be spending lots and lots and lots more money. And I can tell you, Kurt dialed this thing in. He actually came in a couple months earlier than what he thought he was going to be able to get it done with, because we were pressing him pretty hard because we wanted to get it out there. So a lot of thank yous go to Kurt Ellis all the way around. Good job, my man, and thank you.
I'm very proud of it. And just on your analytics, since we launched on October 24th through yesterday, we've had 16,000 visits to our website, totaling 41,000 page views.
Oh, wow.
And it's still holding consistent that of those page views, 28% were were the home page and the global navigation items. 19%, 7,600 views were for property taxes. 7,100 of those views, 17% were elections. GIS were 1,951 views and 5%. I expect that after today, we're going to see a big, huge bump, mostly on elections. And as you can see, we have predominantly featured on our homepage, right smack at the bottom, and it will look like this in a mobile view, that people can get the election results tonight. I will be updating them on the website tonight for the first time to make sure everything works okay, but I've already tested it like 5 different times because I know that people are going to complain if we don't have things done properly. So we're ready to go. This will be one of our big public tests for tonight, but I think overall it continues our move into using 21st century technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of the compliments I've gotten has been the mobile.
Yeah.
That's, everybody said, wow, I can get this stuff so easily, and
it's pretty.
right,
Yeah.
and it's readable, and,
Yeah.
you know, the other thing too, on our website, if you saw on there too, the GIS, I'm gonna continue to keep pounding that drum. This county has made significant leaps in the last 2 years in our GIS data, and we're still working through that. We have a long way to go. Stormwater's involved in this, plan is involved in this, bridges are involved in this. We're continually adding more data to our GIS website, so not only people that live here, but people that are wanting to do business here or anything can get into this GIS, and there's just a ton of data that is available, a ton available today that we didn't have 2 years ago, and there'll be a ton 2 years from now more than what we have today. It's a big emphasis for this board and for the different departments that affects, but continue to watch that GIS. It's going to continue to have more and more things adding on to that. We're really excited about that because you can find out a lot of stuff on this GIS without even having to come here. So I think it will aid and assist a lot of people to get a lot of things done from the comforts of their home and be able to understand truly what's going on. So we're very focused on that to be able to communicate via technology with our constituents and other stakeholders. So, good job. Any other comments from any of the other board members?
I think we need to vote on this policy.
Yep.
So I will make a motion to approve the policy for maintaining the county website.
Second. We have a motion and a second for the new Porter County website policy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to get into some pay apps. We're going to try to work through these real quick, so hang on here. First one is Expo Center. We're pretty much finished out there. What I'm going to do is we're going to vote on number 1 separately, and then I'm going to vote on 2 and 3 together. Does that make sense, Attorney McClure? So the first one is EC Babilla. It's a pay app number 3, the amount of $10,894 for roofing. And you can see the remaining balance on there. We'll pay for that pay app. Throw it to the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for pay app number 3 for EC Babilla, and that's for the Expo Center. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. 2 and 3 for the Expo Center. These are pay app number 4 for Babilla and Oosterbaan and Sons. These are both final pay apps. The dollar amounts are noted on the agenda. I'll throw that to the floor for final pay apps.
Motion to approve both pay apps mentioned.
Second. We have a motion and a second for the the final pay apps for EC Babilla and Oosterbaan and Sons. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is 157 Franklin Street. That's just down the street here. I know we toured the property last week, and construction is coming on very nicely, starting to take shape as to how that's going to look on the inside. So we're very pleased with how that looks. What we're going to do here is we're going to do all the pay apps for 157 as noted per the agenda, so we can put those up to the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for 6 pay apps for the 157 Franklin Street renovation per the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have the North County Courthouse. We're going to go 1 through 10, which are just pay apps. So per the agenda, we're now looking at pay apps number 1 through 10. Throw it to the floor.
Motion to approve pay apps 1 through 10 per the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for pay apps 1 through 10 per the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. The last one, 11, is Kleckner Interior Systems. This is allowance authorization number 2 in the amount of $10,434. As we've talked about before, there is a budgeted amount in the budget for drywall. This is just us using that allowance, and we're formalizing that process to use that allowance that's already in the budget.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for Kleckner Interior Systems, allowance authorization number 2 for the North County Annex renovation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Now we're going to move to the better stuff. Sheriff Dave Reynolds, come on forward with the crew.
And if anybody wants to see those details, they're online on the agenda.
Yeah. Good morning.
Want to introduce, this is not Edie. Edie's back there.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm Kathy, the Assistant Comptroller. Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what we got up first here, Dave, Sheriff, we got a request to purchase 2 vehicles from Lakeshore Motors. One's a jail van, and then one's a patrol interceptor with equipment. There's the details. It'll be paid out of CCD fund. Any additional comments or questions?
I mean, the money's there, so just moved it around.
Okay. Good. Any questions from the board?
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to request purchase for 2 vehicles from Lakeshore Motors, a jail van and 1 patrol interceptor with equipment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. How many vehicles will we be selling? That's right around the corner, or did it already happen?
So normally we do it in October,
Right.
because we got our vehicles so late, because of the new model year. We'll probably do it in late April, early May,
Okay.
and we'll probably do 10 or 11.
Just making a note here, Gary. Okay. Next up, we got North Shore Health Centers, and this is a substance abuse treatment program agreement. I'm assuming this is for the jail, Sheriff?
Yes.
Any questions of the sheriff or his staff on this agreement? What will that entail exactly, Dave?
Well, that is money that's being provided by a DOC, Department of Correction grant. So we,
And this is really North Shore purchased Frontline, or
right,
absorbed
this is
Frontline.
basically Frontline.
This is really the same as Frontline, it's just that they're now the same place.
They've been phenomenal in our jail.
Motion to approve.
Second. And we have a motion and a second for North Shore Health Centers. This is a substance abuse treatment program agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have Auto Clear.
You skipped.
Oh, the Caring, geez, okay, the Caring Place, I better start checking these off. Caring Place, I think they're doing this already out there, right? And this is just another annual agreement?
Right.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, pose same sign, motion carries. Now, Auto Clear. This is an annual maintenance agreement for the X-ray machines at the Porter County Courthouse in the amount of $4,950, and the North County Annex Building in the amount of $5,400. And I know they're there because I go through them all the time in Portage when I'm looking at, they go off a lot.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for an annual maintenance agreement with Auto Clear. for the Porter County Courthouse and the North County Annex. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion carries. And then we have a request to purchase new police vehicles for 2020. This is a discussion, and I will throw it to you, Sheriff.
Well, obviously, we've been talking to Scott, the attorney, and it's our understanding that the money will be given to us, and what we want to do is buy hybrid vehicles with that money. We have shown you the cost savings in that if we, with each vehicle, the savings is $2,000 in gas per year. But if you look in the second page, if we did 10, it's $20,000, and then eventually, if we did the whole fleet, you're saving $93,000 a year in gas. We've done our due diligence. There's no question about performance, and we would be, this would be going strictly green, basically, and we would be, there's almost every sheriff's office is looking at doing this. We would be as far as we know, we would be the first to do it. And so I think that's kind of cool. But, our concern was performance. The battery in this is, so it's a hybrid, so you don't have to plug it in. So the battery is good for about at least 150,000 miles. I just don't see any downside.
I was at a demonstration basically a demonstration of the Sheriff's Department, and these vehicles are purposeful made for this application. This is not the normal utility, hybrid vehicle that you would purchase at the lot. These are specifically made hybrids by Ford for the police application. Basically, the significant portion of the gas savings comes from the idling time that every officer on the road has, whether it's at stop signs or at traffic stops or sitting outside somebody's house with, whatever it is while you're dealing with an issue inside. So these numbers have been gone through pretty diligently. Again, purposeful made for police operations, and you're looking at, and I believe, there's some amount of guesstimate as far as how many hours on a shift, but this is on the lower end of the spectrum. So this hasn't been pushed up to the higher end. This actually may end up being more per vehicle than we know at this point. We're using some averages for police forces, kind of broader, so everyone's a little bit different, but, this is pretty exciting, and again, it's pretty unique and special, so I think it's going well.
What's the price of the vehicle?
The price on the vehicle is $37,643.
Is that significantly more than the normal one?
I'm going to say about $3,000.
And then, did anybody ask what the cost of the battery replacement would be?
Yeah.
$150,000?
That's a good question, but the way we're looking at this, we're not going to be in, we're going to get rid of them before we do that.
It has an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on all
Okay.
components and batteries.
And we've been 120 is when we've been about rotating, right, so it's perfect for us.
Okay.
Yep,
Just want to make sure.
So
Does
it'll pay
it-
for itself in a couple of years.
year and a half, hopefully.
Does that affect our maintenance, how we're set up, in our maintenance department to service the current vehicles that we have? I mean, is the oil changes different?
It should be fine.
Nothing changes? Okay.
Any other questions?
I think the only issue we had left was, I think in the sheriff's budget, you guys have about, can't remember which budget it is, but you have $50,000 in one of your budgets for cars.
Right.
And then we have $350 in ours for cars.
Right.
And so I think basically the motion is to purchase as many of these we can for $400,000. And if we ordered them, when are we expecting delivery? I know you were a long time this year because of the model year change.
Much quicker by end of April.
Yeah, and that's why you got your sheriff's sale kind of tagged along with
Gotcha.
that. That all all ties back in together.
Yep.
So how many vehicles are you intending to
Well, what we'd
retire?
like, we know we don't have enough money to buy what we want. And then we're looking at right now taking some money out of some forfeiture or something. We get 50 from the council. But if we can get through this and you can show, it'd be a lot easier to sell next year if we come in and actually show you how much money we save.
Well,
And then we could figure out maybe getting more,
Well, as we can reduce the gas and lube line, I think, in the auditor's budget.
Yep.
Because of gas, the sheriff's department is saving, it makes it a whole lot easier to potentially make the argument to move that over to purchase more. I think this one was set up to buy 11, and I think we have enough to buy 9 as we sit here right now.
So we're trying to work out something to get the other 2.
Right.
Because we hired two new policemen from the SRO thing in Portage, so we actually have 2 more policemen, so we're trying to do the best we can to accommodate them.
And those 2 new patrol officers, they'll service just the school?
Yes.
Does that contract cover the cost of their vehicle?
No.
That could get expensive. Anyway, so you're looking, Dave, you're just looking to purchase how many cars, we can get within a $400,000 budget?
That's what I'm asking. But we don't wanted to tell you, we wanted to be transparent and tell you this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of out of the box a little bit.
Go ahead.
But I'm with you. I think this is a very exciting thing. I think eventually, all your county vehicles will be hybrid. Because if you can show that you're saving that much money on gas and you're not compromising performance, the $3,000 is going to be, it's more than worth it.
What is our annual cost for gas? Does anybody know?
We budget $350,000 a year right now. I don't know how that breaks out.
That's probably something we're going to have to be pretty clear on if we're going to say it's going to save something.
Well, yeah, if you're saving 100, eventually, down the road, you're saving that much money, that'd be a good thing for you.
And then also, this is a nice way, because you guys have, if we got, let's say we end up with 9 or 11, however many we end up with, it's still not, it's probably, 10-15% of your total cars, maybe not patrol cars, but total vehicles, somewhere in there.
Right.
So it's not as if, if we have an issue, we've kind of towed in slightly here to see if this works, and if we're going to get a year to see how everything goes, and if they perform the way they're been sold that they will.
Are we going to accept the motion?
Do we have to do anything, or is
Yeah,
it,
we
they just bring it?
No?
Okay, because it said discussion, I didn't know, okay.
Yeah.
I just have a question to the sheriff.
Please come forward, give your name. Right there's a microphone, your name and address, and you can,
Porter County, I am the executive director of the MS4 partnership. There is some money out there, grant money, available through South Shore Clean Cities, through the Department of Energy. You have the matching available. There's also some funds available through the Volkswagen settlement agreement specifically for Northwest Indiana, that it might be helpful to look into that.
That's phenomenal.
And I can give
Thank
you the
you.
information.
I thought you were going to come up and yell at me.
Don't yell at us.
you don't sit up here enough. We take that heat. Thank you, Reggie.
You're welcome.
So,
It's in the motion to approve.
yeah.
What needs to be included, up to 400?
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the purchase of the hybrid vehicles up to $400,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the request to purchase new police vehicles for 2020, being energy efficient, utility-type cars. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have Attorney Chuck Luckman, who's here representing the Porter County Airport Board. Good morning, Attorney Luckman.
Good morning, folks. Thank you for hearing me today on behalf of the Porter County Municipal Airport Authority, and also for all of your support to another wonderful asset of this county, just east of here. I was in front of you 3 years ago asking for a resolution to approve revenue bonds for refunding and capital improvements for the airport in the amount of $4.5 million. We did not, you approved it, but we did not complete that transaction. It was taxable at the time. There are a couple other issues going on, and the authority thought it better to wait. The good news is, interest, as you know, has gone down. The bonds that are outstanding to be refunded mature January 1, 2028, and between now and then, the interest rate is from 5.4% to 5.6%. We have secured an interest rate for this bond issue. Now, it's floating to the closing, and we are hopeful to close this month, about 3.17%. It's wonderful, really. We're very excited. We will save over the next 9 years or so about $162,000 taxpayer money, and we will end up having approximately $2.2 million for capital projects, which will include revenue-producing T-hangers, improvements to the taxiway, including all sewer, water, NIPSCO, and that can accommodate more construction and economic development in the county. And we also have some money in there for land acquisition if we need it for the runway protective zone out east of the airport. So again, we're excited about this project, and we thought it best to come back and get another approval and update you. I've spoken to Vicki Urbanek. When we close, of course, if we have your blessing, we will get all of the amortization tables, closing documents for her. I understand there's new accounting requirements coming up, and she's already talked to our manager, Kyle Kubler, and that's pretty much it, unless you have any questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a bond offering for the Porter County Municipal Airport for the revenue refunding and improvement bonds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries.
Okay,
Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you.
And I would be remiss, as I look at the three of you, I see three people have been integral to the South Shoreline in this county. Y'all have served and been a very important part of three transformational projects that are going on now.
Yep.
I happen to represent them, and everyone's appreciative of your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Good news out at the airport.
Absolutely.
Okay, next up, we have our 911 Director, Tony Stua. Up before us now, as we have for Motorola Solutions, this is a change order in the amount of $893,680.69 due to delay in system connectivity to the IPSC core.
This is to revise the project final acceptance milestone to December 30th, 2019, due to the delay in our towers and the system all being connected. So this process has been en route for a couple of years, so this brings us to the change order isn't the dollar amount, that was the original dollar amount. The change order is actually just changing the final acceptance date, and while that's important, that is when our warranty or our 20 years of warranty begins. So the change order is oddly worded because of it is what it is, but at the end of the day, it's just changing the final acceptance date, which sets when our warranties and things like that go into effect.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for a change order for Motorola Solutions for connectivity to the IPSC core. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. If you all remember, the operation of the three towers that we bought several years ago was delayed. It wasn't really anybody's fault per se, other than we had a very difficult time finding copper wires that would connect up to these towers that had the redundancy and the capability of being able to handle this robust data that goes through these lines. A lot of these lines are over 100 years old that were coming in, and so we went through hundreds and hundreds of pairs of lines to be able to find the ones that would actually work. The lines were the responsibility of the state program that we entered into an agreement with, so it was really nothing that we could really control from our end. It was more of a blocking and tackling event at each tower location. We've gotten through that. One of the things that we were concerned about is the agreement that we signed with the state gave us 20 years of maintenance. It took too long to get these fired up, so we're just correcting and pushing out that maintenance agreement to when we actually started, and that's really what this is for. So just wanted to clarify that, because I know there's some other people out there in Porter County government that feels they were responsible or for whatever for the cure, and we're just trying to tell everybody that it was a little bit different than that.
Well, they're not in Porter County.
Yeah, right. So, right, not in Porter County government, so just
I know,
wanted
I was looking around and say, who?
Yeah. So anyway, next up, part of the implementation of the 700 megahertz towers, once we got the towers up and we got them working, we found that we have a problem getting the signal in our oldest building in Porter County, and that is the courthouse. And
only the first 2 floors.
And only the first 2 floors. I think it once again gives you an indication of how well these buildings were built over 100 years ago, that you can't get a signal through there. So the next thing that is up on our agenda is talking about buying a repeater that basically goes in the courthouse that will allow the signal for those radios for court security and everybody else to be able to talk to 911 and everything. Right now, we cannot get a signal in that building because it's like 4-foot thick walls. It's good that the building's built that way, but it's caused us other problems in the new era of technology. So hopefully this information here and what we act and try to do here will satisfy that. Is that correct, Tony?
Yes, what the bidirectional amplifier will do, it'll capture the signal, amplify it and broadcast it out, as well as any signal coming into the courthouse, captures that on the outside, amplifies it, broadcasts it to the radios that are being used on the first 2 floors.
Tony, why such the big difference in the price of this thing?
When I spoke to Motorola, they believe they're using goods that are of a different quality, but when I also spoke with Bartronics, they have what will be sufficient for the use we have. We don't need to be covering multiple floors other than the 2 to 3 floors. They believe by going with Motorola's quote, that would be covering a high-rise or another facility, maybe like Ivy Tech, larger span that you need to cover. So they believe theirs is more appropriate for the level that we require.
Motion to approve the Bartronics quote.
I would just ask that it's made contingent upon council approving the additional out of the surcharge fund to pay for this. And that's on the council agenda. I believe Melanie and the 911 staff have worked to get that on the next council agenda.
I amend my motion to include that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a bi-directional amplifier battery backup system for the downtown Porter County Courthouse. Low bid and responsible bid goes to Bartronics for $80,792.38. This is contingent upon county council approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries.
Hypothetically, because I don't understand, so that's the reason I'm asking this question, is if we put this system in there and the Motorola's right, we needed something larger than what Bartronics is going to provide, something more sophisticated, and it doesn't work. What's our choices here then?
For that, Bartronics, when I spoke to Motorola cannot give a reason why their cost is more. Bartronics believes that the cost that Motorola is providing.
I see what you're saying.
Motorola can't provide an accurate account as to why their cost is that much more. When they originally claimed that Bartronics was not going to provide all the connections and the battery backup, but we have documentation, verification through at Bartronics that they are providing everything, all the connections. That's why they have a separate quote just for the backup batteries to make sure everything's included. That's something also that was not included with the Motorola.
And also, to my understanding, earlier in the late spring, early summer, there was actually a study done, and that's how we know that it's only the first 2 floors of the courthouse.
Correct.
And a portion of the JDC. And so I think so this isn't Motorola or Bartronics guessing
No.
as to what the signals are or aren't, or the strength. It's been verified that 3, 4, and 5 of the Valparaiso courthouse is working now, and 1 and 2 are intermittent.
Correct.
And there's portions of JDC that are intermittent and or not working, but small portions. So there was a study done. This isn't a guessing game. And so I think Bartronics' quote is more geared towards exactly what the study suggested we needed. Motorola, on review of it does, if you're going to try to fill in the gaps of it, it does seem to be a one-size-fits-all solution that maybe would work for this whole building also, if that were to be determined as needed. But it's not, they didn't have the ability necessarily to dial down their option to something that's only what that particular building needs.
Overkill.
Correct.
Pretty much. If there's something else that's occurred that we're not aware of, that would be the only area where we might have a deficiency in the radio, or the radio being broadcast properly, but it's not something that had been in the study before. By reflection of what we've done the study and the different parcels and where we had anything missing was a cornfield out of the way, but we still received data, so we'd still receive audio in there as well. But for the courthouse, that's...
I have to ask you a question. We haven't moved into the 15 Franklin yet.
Correct.
157.
Or 157 Franklin. Are we clear that we're going to be able to dispatch out of there? Because that building is built, it's a steel structure, built very well.
So with the center that we'll be moving to, all of our radio track will be going through outside of the facility. We're not broadcasting from within the center. Ours is going to go out to one of the towers.
So you're not worried about anything coming into the building?
No, all of that's going to be coming in through either a T1 connection or a fiber connection, and it'll be routed into the center directly. It's coming to...
We've already run fiber to the building.
Yeah.
I
was worried about radio waves,
We should be fine on that because everything's going to be broad, amplified
from an office or out on the street.
No, we should be fine with that.
Okay.
I would also like to point out, too, that several years ago, when we went through the gyrations of getting, at least from the county's perspective, the new radios that we had to purchase for highway, for a lot of other smaller fire departments and other things, we sort of ran into the same situation with Motorola and Bartronics. Bartronics with D.F. Johnson radios versus Motorola radios. The D.F. Johnson radios were, we felt, just as good, but much less price, and we were also buying from a Porter County vendor that does a lot of work for us at 911. So when we get into Motorola and Bartronics, these type of things, certain situations, we see large price differences this way, but it's good that we have a local vendor here that knows this stuff, has alternative radios and alternative things for us to be able to do, and so it's a good check and balance for the county, so we're not overpaying for these type of services. So we're sort of used to this, but we don't like it, but it's just the way it is, and we have to keep minding the pricing and keep asking, and
that's a huge advantage for them to be located here.
Yes.
They're not coming out of Indianapolis.
Right. 15 minutes away. So I know they were out there a lot when we were cutting over the radios, and it's nice to have local people here that really know their business, and they do up there. So next up, we have the 911 Employee Policy Supplement, and do we want to give somewhat of an overview on that, or?
Yeah, so the county adopted a handbook that's countywide. 911 is a 24-hour, 365 operation, so therefore it has unique employee issues that need to be addressed outside of the or as a supplement to the rest of the employee's handbook on only those issues that basically are different or unique to 911. This has been in process, unfortunately, for a year. So this is a pretty good milestone in the sense that I think we now have upon approval, we have the employee handbook, we have the supplement for 911. I think now for the first time in several years, we'll actually have one sheet of music for all of us to be playing off of. And if we need to modify or make small revisions, now we at least know where we're all starting from, the same start gate. And this would effectively, if the commissioners were to approve this would effectively eliminate any policies or employee policies or supplemental policies that were implemented in the past and have caused some confusion. So this would kind of get us to a clean slate of, we have the master county employee handbook along with the 911 supplement, and those would be the two documents that the employees of 911 would be under. I know that quite a bit of work was done before Tony was here. Tony has spent quite a bit of time on it since he's been here. I know HR has spent an inordinate amount of time on this, unfortunately, and so I'm happy to see it on the agenda in a final format.
Me too.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the 911 employee policy supplement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries.
I'd also like to just provide the commissioners
Yeah.
as well with just some statistical information, how 911's been doing over the past month. This gives data as to how many calls we've received, processed, dealt with police and fire. We'll be putting this on the Facebook page and the website.
Good.
That way the residents understand what 911's doing for them and how we can improve. One thing I would like to highlight is the fact that we answer our calls within 10 seconds, 99.21% of the time was just last month. The majority of ours has been over 99% of the time. The standards for our industry are actually, we answer 90% of our calls within 10 seconds and 95% of our calls within 20 seconds. We are well above and beyond that. Our goal is to hit 100 again. I think this happened a few years ago, but it hasn't been there since, and we're going to work towards that.
Good.
So, thank you very much.
Thanks for all your hard work, Tony.
How are you settling in?
Working towards trying to determine how everything's working in the center, trying to take direction to make sure we are organizing everything from the admin level side down and work it where everyone is on the same page right now.
See, you don't have any gray hair yet, so you must be doing.
I don't have enough hair showing, so you won't see it for now. It's all right here.
Thank you.
The one stat that jumps off of here at me is that almost 80% of our 911 calls are coming in from mobile.
Yes. Majority, and I would recommend anybody here who has not signed up, please, when you see this on either the website or on our Facebook, smart911.com, you can download it on your phone, either from iOS or from Google Play. You have additional information you can put in there, and 911 has that information that we wouldn't have based on a normal 911 call if you disconnect.
You put layout of your house. There's a lot of things that you can do, so when that call comes up, they'll know where you're at, they'll have a layout of your house, they'll know, there's as much data as you want to give them.
And we cannot access that information unless you call 911.
Yep.
Once you dial 911, we have that information presented to the call taker, and if you were to call, have a problem breathing, and disconnect, we have your name, your address, only the information you put in there, and they request an update every 6 months, either via text message, email, or phone call.
Just housekeeping, and those tools are available to us out there, and I think us moving our website to more mobile-friendly, I think everybody can see where this is all starting to go. Unfortunately, it's the sign of the times, but we're trying as a government to stay on the forefront and give our citizens the options to have these type of tools that could save a life down the road or save time, and that's what this 911 is all about. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, Lance Bella. We go from 911 to emergencies. It's going to get better, though. Morning, Lance.
Morning.
What do you got here, Martin Security System?
So all this is the same monitoring we've had in the past, but we've gone from, as you have orchestrated, from having multi-year contracts to a single year. So the contract was up, it's the same price, it's all been budgeted for, it's just renewing it.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for Martin Security System Monitoring Agreement, the amount of $30 a month for the Emergency Management Administration Building out on Highway 2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Lance.
Thank you.
Next up, Kevin Brightsky, Surveyor. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
You have a request to purchase a 2020 Transit 250 cargo van, Lakeshore Ford, government price in the amount of $30,692. How are you paying for that?
Out of Section Corner perpetuation funds,
Okay.
as all of our vehicles have been bought out of.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
This vehicle's going to replace a 2,000 three-quarter-ton van, so.
And then that van will go in the sheriff's sale in April.
Absolutely.
Okay. There you go, Ward.
Do you already have the money appropriated?
I do.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Kevin. No. Okay, Vicki Urbanek coming around the podium. Now we get to see her instead of the side view.
Yes.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
What do you got?
A few items for your consideration today that relate to a very significant endeavor about to commence in the county auditor's office. Pursuant to state legislation, we are going to be one of 14 Indiana counties that will be transitioning to GAAP financial reporting. GAAP stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. And if you're an investor and you read your financial statements, you are reading GAAP statements. They are much more detailed, complex, extensive than the current county annual financial reports. They are going to be much more labor-intensive to prepare. We can't just press a computer button and it comes out. I believe it's going to be the most significant project that I have dealt with as county auditor, and I think it's going to be one of the most comprehensive requirements ever to affect county auditors. Now, to the best of my knowledge, every county that's making this transition in 2020 is contracting out for the work. We are going to attempt, and I emphasize attempt, to do this project in-house. I think that we have a few things going for us that allows us to attempt to do this project. So to help prepare us for the real thing next year, one of the big projects that happened in our office very quietly this year was that we put together what's called test statements, or what I'm calling test statements. Basically, we took our 2018 financials that have already gone through audit and converted them to GAAP as much as we possibly could do. And the reason why I wanted us to do this was to get an idea of what we're up against next year. If everyone else is contracting out, what are we going to be facing? What are the challenges? What are the questions? What do we feel comfortable with, and what are we somewhat lacking in? So that's why I'm here before you today. I am asking to approve a contract with Baker Tilly, a CPA firm, to conduct a peer review of our test statements. Basically, we want to give them these test statements and have them rip it apart. Basically, we would explain how we came up with certain things, and then they would be telling us whether we did it right or whether we did something that we should be thinking a little bit differently about. The goal here is that we want to do a good job when we do these reports. Not only are they audited, but many people do read county financial reports, believe it or not. Financial advisors read them. The state examiners read them. Bond credit agencies read them. And also businesses potentially moving into Porter County. This is a snapshot of where we are financially. So this contract is not to exceed $10,000, and it would be funded through the auditors and eligible homestead fund, so there's no impact on the general fund. Now, should I go to the next thing?
That's the amendment or the?
Yes. Also, as part of GAAP statements, capital assets are going to play a major part in our statements. Right now, we are required just to report certain totals, but under GAAP, we are going to have to go into much, much more detail. And so, I wanted to review the current policy. It was adopted in 2004, and it definitely needed to be updated. For example, the policy says that we capitalize at 10,000. We don't capitalize at 10,000. We actually go to 5,000, which is the Government Accounting Standards Board recommended threshold. And there's other things that we wanted to put in the policy, including the responsibilities of county departments to work with us in ensuring that we have everything we need on our capital asset plan. And today, there's been several discussions about new vehicles and things. And all of them are going to be on this plan. And so we want it to be as comprehensive as possible. And then,
What about like equipment?
Yes,
Same
that's
deal.
all capitalized.
So we have to age it, and is there
Yes.
aging and all that okay.
Depreciation. We will handle the depreciation for the departments. We need them to provide us a comprehensive inventory.
I would think that this information would also help us when we go to insure everything,
Yes,
that we would we'd actually know what we had.
exactly.
Well, and that's a good place to start, because it's on our insured list now.
Right, right. And along the same lines, this is the last thing. I'm really happy
You're doing
about
well, Vicki, you're doing well.
This is not necessarily for you to approve, but on November 21st, we're going to have a training with county departments. One section's going to be on internal controls, and that will be followed by fixed assets in you. We want to explain to departments the new reporting requirements and what they need to do to help us ensure that we have the most comprehensive fixed asset plan possible.
How does this work, Vicki, with our software we just bought? Is there no...
Okay.
And I don't want to get too in the weeds, but
right.
I just...
Answer's no.
Right. Right now, our financial software basically can generate the AFR that the state requires.
Okay.
It does not generate GAAP because GAAP reporting is much more analytical. There's a lot of calculation, computation. However, there's much that the software can do in terms of classifying various government funds, fiduciary funds, proprietary funds. And we've been working with LAO on what we think they can do to help their counties, and because of the input that we have given them, they are not charging us for their GAAP updates. We're saving about $7,500 in that regard.
Are they using like a report writer or something that they're putting in with the... Just
There's
curious.
different components that they're going to be adding.
Okay.
So that, let me give you...
So it'd be a software update is what it would be?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I got you.
So that what counties can do is that they can run a report, and they will be able to aggregate all their different government funds into the different categories that we have to, between special revenue and permanent funds and capital project funds. Right now, no counties are doing that, but LAO can do that for us. However, then it's up to people to take that information and convert it to the accrual and modified accrual basis of accounting, which the software really doesn't do because we don't handle the financial accounting that way. Yeah, I can go on and on.
I know.
Yes.
This is a big move.
It is, and also we are going to be giving our test statements to the State Board of Accounts. They have graciously agreed to look at them. They are not going to be analyzing the numbers because that's going to be next year when they actually audit us. So what we're trying to do is jumpstart the process and to sort of audit us now before we go to the real thing next year.
Well, being an elected official who, I've been up here 5 years now and has somewhat struggled with fund accounting, because I come from the business world.
Yes.
This is going to help me out, I think, a little bit better. I know we got a long way to get there, but I personally feel that it's a good move And I think, I know all the work and everything. And I'd also like to say, Vicki, too, that because the state has picked us as one of the 14, I think that's a true testament to you and your department and what you've done up here, which has been nothing short of miraculous in my world. I truly feel that way, and I want to congratulate you for being able to be selected by the state to do that. That's big.
I appreciate that. However, we weren't selected. It was state lawmakers that set the threshold. It's 100,000 or more population.
Okay.
So.
Well, good luck.
But
You would have been.
You would have been selected no matter what.
Thank you.
You should be still going with it. I don't care what anybody says.
No, but thank you, I appreciate that. But I do have to say, credit goes to the staff of the auditor's office, because they really are taking on a lot of
You're the
additional
leader.
duties here, so.
Well, the real bottom line is you're saving us several $100,000 by not bringing in an outside consultant, and you're saving us $7,500 because we're actually helping our software vendor get their stuff right, because that's where we're at. So whether the
Good
state
place to
invited
be.
you or in or not, you've saved a whole lot of money.
Thank
And
you.
headaches. Motion to approve the Baker Tilly contract.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Baker Tilly. This is a contract for peer review for 2018 test statements, not to exceed $10,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion carries. Next is up an amendment to the Porter County capitalization threshold policy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for that amendment to the Porter County's capitalization threshold policy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion carries. And last one, well, we've already had that
Yeah.
discussion, haven't we?
Yes.
So we're there.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Vicki,
you.
for everything.
And whenever you want, I'm willing to kind of take you to a tour through our financial statements. Because they're exciting. They're balance sheets and
I can't wait.
income statements.
I'm excited. I look at this stuff every day, so for me, it's just
Exactly,
more up.
exactly, and you're going to see. Okay.
Gives us a little bit better pulse on how we're doing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Madam Auditor. Next up, IT, Don Welzen. Morning, Don. These are two quotes for electronic security systems at 157 Franklin. We have Videotech at a quote of $30,507.78, and ATN Technology at $44,774. Correct, Don?
Yes.
What's your thoughts?
We recommend Videotech on this one.
Okay. Responsible low bidder.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Videotech for the electronic security system at 157 Franklin, awarded to Videotech at $30,507.78. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Thanks, Don.
They've just made
Yep,
one
go ahead.
small change yesterday. Videotech came back and they changed the maintenance agreement. It normally would go 90 days after the install before they'd start charging us. They've changed that to a 12-month now, 12-month period.
Excellent.
Good,
Good work.
good.
Thank
job,
you.
Don.
Thanks, Don. Next up, we have the Development Stormwater Management Group. We got Bob Thompson and the county engineer, Michael Novotny. Good morning, gentlemen. We meet again.
Good morning.
So what do you got up first on the agenda here? I'll let you guys read. My voice is going.
This is Weintraub Associates, asking for an agreement to allow access to State Road 2 and Headland Road for an archaeological investigation, which will be part of the proposed roundabout. Last meeting, you signed the one over for NDOT to allow them to go forward and be able to start removing trees and stuff. This is that was specific to NDOT. This one is their consultant subcontractor for doing the archaeological investigations for the environmental study. Remember, they did find some foundation to the old Porter County home.
Wasn't that under the existing too?
That was under the existing too, part of it, so.
How are they gonna close traffic down and cut
That, I'm not really sure. This is right now is allowing them to get into the proposed right-of-way area.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Weintraub Associates. This is an agreement to allow access at State Road 2 and Headland Road for an archaeological investigation, which will be part of the proposed roundabout at that intersection. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries.
Bob, the next two are CCMG grant agreements.
Yes, they are CCMG grant agreements. They're two separate grant agreements because we kept them out for bidding purposes on that. One of them is for preventative maintenance type measures on it, sealing of the roads, and the other one is for actual mill and asphalt structural overlays.
If you guys want to do both of those at the same time, you can.
Okay, I'll throw it to the board for 2 and 3.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for items number 2 and number 3 on the Commissioner's agenda. This is local road and bridge matching grants for 2 projects. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries.
Next item is an invitation to bid. We're just announcing now that we're going to be going out and requesting bid invites, sealed bids for these particular projects that we have with the CCMG money.
For numbers 2 and 3 on the agenda.
Okay.
Just need a motion and a second.
Yep.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for an invitation to bid on the individual grant agreement projects. This will be advertised in January of 2020. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. We got Gary Up Construction up next.
Yes, this is a change order for guardrail end treatments on Bridge 126 at 700 North over Salt Creek. Staff requested that the guardrail end treatments be changed over, which was originally on the plan.
And I wanted to clarify something on this change order as well. Essentially, there's 20 items on this change order that are just settling final measured quantities.
Yep.
There's really just one change that's being requested as a part of this, and that's in the amount of that $13,331.93. We're changing the end treatment on the guardrail.
On the guardrails?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for a change order approval for guardrail and treatments on bridge number 126. This is at 700 North over Salt Creek. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign, motion carries. And next up, we have an ordinance pertaining to department fees.
Correct. Now that we've added highway engineering, and we have all the engineering up in the office and everything like that, originally our fee ordinance dealt with a lot of the plan commission type fees that we'd have for applications, BZA, building permits, and such. So we did have the independent stormwater engineer if it was sent out to a consultant for particular hourly rates. Now what we have done is we're trying to bring in everybody inclusive on that. We did tweak some of the plan commission fees on that, but we pretty much left them alone, just a few of them. Now we've added actual stormwater engineering, so that way we're trying to do a lot of this in-house. We've added the hourly rates for all of the staff members on this. Again, we're going to go back to 2 reviews. If you don't make it in 2 reviews, the third one, we're starting to charge you the hourly rates. So now this ordinance actually has the hourly rates on
And
that.
just to give everybody what we're talking about, right now, if somebody comes in for a subdivision proposal, the stormwater plan is sent to a list of third parties, potentially.
Correct.
With a fee attached to it in our current fee ordinance.
Correct.
And those are reviewed by that list of approved vendors. This is kind of the follow-up to what the council did at budget time by approving another engineer into the department.
Correct.
And as part of that, it was we were going to attempt to bring these reviews in-house and have this, part of this revision is to bring those fees in-house also. And then what you're getting to now, when I interrupted you, was the amount of times individuals need to have their plans reviewed before they can make it past to approved.
Right.
Basically, we've had a history. We've done this long enough to know that we have a history that some of these reviews can get pretty out of control, let's say it that way, meaning 7, 9, 10 reviews later. In an effort to try to have our local engineers put their best foot forward as soon as possible. We have, 2 reviews, and after that, there's additional fees that start getting added on. Is that how we've developed this fee ordinance?
Correct.
Also on there is the highway engineering section with the right-of-way cut permits, the driveway permits. Mike and I have been talking, we've been wanting to totally revamp that whole section with the permitting process and with the new position we're going to be having in there as far as right-of-way manager. We're hoping to have whole new permit forms, looking at that, and some of our inspection processes coming up. As you'll notice, there's 2 different prices for commercial drives. It's all dependent on what needs to be done. For an example, we have costs for boring underneath the road and asking for maintenance surety on that to make sure. So just trying to really ramp up our highway engineering section.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Well, this is an ordinance, so we're going to have to go into a public hearing here. What we're going to do right now is we're going to suspend the commissioners' meeting. We're going to open up a public hearing. What this will allow, we're going to give 3 opportunities for people to speak in favor of this ordinance, and we'll give 3 opportunities for people to speak against this ordinance if they so desire. So the first one we will put up is if there's anybody wishing to speak against this ordinance, please come forward. State your name and your address by the microphone. This is the second call. Anybody wishing to come forward to speak against this ordinance. Third and final time, anybody wishing to come forward to speak against this ordinance. And with that, we'll now flip to the other side. We'll give a first call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak in favor of this ordinance. Second call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak in favor of this ordinance. Third and final call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak in favor of this ordinance. And with that, the public hearing is closed. We'll now reopen the Commissioners' meeting, and I'll throw it to the Board of Commissioners.
Now I'll make the motion to approve.
Yes, second. We have a motion and a second for an ordinance pertaining to department fees for stormwater and highway engineering and plan. This is first reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Second reading will be brought up on the next Commissioners' meeting. So we can now move to the next part of the agenda, which is Timberland Farms Phase 3.
This is accepting the maintenance surety for 3 years on Timberland Farms Phase 3. We've been out, inspected the infrastructure. The infrastructure is in place other than the guardrail at the end of a cul-de-sac. They gave us the contract showing that that was in. We wrote a little report on this. What this does is it allows the county, or we're following the UDO requirements in there, maintenance for 3 years. This isn't acceptance, full acceptance of the roads.
Just preliminary acceptance.
Preliminary acceptance. So what we're doing is we're agreeing, we'll snow plow it and everything, but if anything comes up saying a curb settles around a manhole, pavement fails, the developer's still responsible. After 3 years, we will go back and re-inspect everything on this to make sure it is functioning properly like the plans state. Then we will be back for full acceptance of...
Is this just binder?
No.
This is for surface and everything?
Surface and everything.
Okay.
And this is only Phase 3 of Timberland Farms?
Correct.
Correct.
So it's a smaller portion?
Correct.
So this is $61,000 of secured funds for the next 3 years to make sure that there's not
Maintenance happens.
for maintenance, whether it be cracking or settling or whatever the case may be.
Correct.
And you've approved that amount? You've done your estimates and...
Yes, and to be clear, this does not include the stormwater infrastructure.
Right.
Or the open space. Those will be left with the Conservancy
District.
So it's just the roads.
Gotcha.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for Timberland Farms Phase 3 maintenance acceptance from the county. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Next up, American Structure Point, Willow Creek Road Supplement Agreement.
This adds to the original agreement that we have in place. This particular addition is now looking at doing a route analysis and an environmental study going south of 130 down to US Highway 30. So I believe, I don't have the exact amount on it, I
The
believe.
exact amount is $195,235 to the increase to add those two issues to
Correct.
the existing structure point contract. This contract is basically on hold until we say proceed, and the goal here is to keep mining our other avenues of funding, such as NERC.
Correct.
Yep.
So this, if the commissioners were to approve this, it puts us in a position to allow NERC, for us and NERC to talk and to attempt to have some more funds dedicated to the project.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for Willow Creek Road supplemental agreement to the main agreement to American Structure Point. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Bridge 84.
Bridge 84, this is 800 south over branch of Dog Lake Ditch. This is opening of sealed bids. This is for reconstruction of the bridge. It's removal of the existing bridge there and construction of a new bridge.
Was there an engineer's estimate?
Yes. There was. Neither Mike nor I like it or agree with it, I should say, or maybe I should let Mike.
You didn't agree with your own estimate?
No.
Well, our consultant put together.
That's what I was.
Our consultant put together an estimate, so my estimate on this is about $790,000. So we'll see how.
Over, under.
Yeah, we'll see how things turn out.
That bridge looks excellent, by the way.
Which one?
The 700.
It does.
Yeah, I drove over it, it's real nice. Okay, first bid, get the cheaters on here. Reese Riley Construction, their quote, or their bid is, base bid is $813,697.50. Jim wants to see them. Next bid is Ellis, is it Ellis?
Ellis.
Yeah, Ellis Construction.
There's an LLC and there's
It's
also
Inc.
Incorporated.
Yeah, there's two of them. So
Yeah.
this is Ellis Construction, Inc., and their quote bid is $829,426.51. Here's that. Next bid is Dunnett Bay Construction Company, and their quote is $976,782.95. Oh, that's Reith Riley's deal. And this is JCI?
JCI, yes.
JCI Bridge Group out of LaPorte. Their quote bid is $826,526.91. This is Garriott Construction. Bid is $797,500. And this is LaPorte Construction, Inc., and their bid is $917,854.68. And that's it.
We would like to take these then upstairs and get back to you next meeting with our recommendation. We want to make sure that they're all
Review for
responsiveness.
and responsibility.
Yes.
Looks like your quoting range was pretty tight.
It
That
was.
means we have good plans, right?
And
looks-
not too bad of an estimate for a stormwater engineer on a bridge either.
See, you came right back at me, too. I like that.
Pretty good for a water guy.
Pretty good for a water guy.
Mike, do we qualify for any federal funds to help?
This one's funded with local funds. This is the last right out of
This
our...
is the last bridge out of the capital improvement projects.
Okay.
Yes.
Not this
This is
one, but...
one of the three.
The upcoming ones that you guys will see will be federally...
Correct.
Federally funded. Or
Correct.
funded.
Thank you. Okay, Bridge 1001.
This is on West Street, it's over Salt Creek, it's right here in the city of Valparaiso.
Oh,
We're just,
yeah, right over there.
announcement of invitations to receive sealed bids for the construction of this project. We have the title page for the plan set for the commissioners and auditor's signature on that, but we are planning to go out to request seal bids.
Does the engineering for that bridge include the sidewalk does it have a sidewalk component to it? Because as you go down there, you see the cones and everything, it really narrows down.
What this does, we're not doing anything as far as the deck. I believe this is all scour measures and reinforcement of the embankments, especially, I believe, on the northwest corner. Yes. So it's a lot of work with the stream channel and the...
And approach work, I believe.
Approach work, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
Do we need to make
Yeah,
a
we just
motion
need,
for that?
yeah, we just need to make a motion on the announcement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on Bridge 1001, West Street over Salt Creek. This is announcement of invitation to receive sealed bids for construction. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign, motion carries.
Thank you.
You're done?
Yep.
We are done.
Unless you've got anything else.
I got another estimate for you, but we'll talk offline.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, last one. Porter County Right to Life, Jen Matthew, Director. This is a request to use the north side of the courthouse grounds on Saturday, January 18th, 2020, from 11:30 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon for a prayer on the square vigil. They have 3 or 4 banners between 3 to 8 feet long, a portable erected cross, a podium with a sound system, and 1 or 2 tables. They're expecting about 50 people.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve.
Are they here? Is Jen here? Jen, come on up.
Yeah, okay.
Did we have some requirements before with the sound system, how loud it was?
Good morning.
Can't remember what they were, but we did.
This is Saturday.
Well, it was about dealing with,
Saturday.
I think we were reminding of the Valpo City noise ordinance as part of the issue there,
Well, I think it was being heard inside the building, too.
but this is Saturday, so, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is-
It's a Saturday.
You see the cops pull up, just screw it.
Turn it down.
Turn it down.
Absolutely.
Any questions of Jen?
It's,
Nope.
Good luck
I think we've done it for about 7 years, and it's a very peaceful event, so,
Good.
all right.
I think we have a motion
And a second.
and a second. Okay, so we have a motion and a second for Porter County Right to Life using the courthouse grounds on Saturday, January 18th, from 11:30 to 1:30, as noted on our agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great event.
Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else wishing to address this board? Sir, please stand up, give your name, your address.
You with him? You're all together?
No.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get you next. You bet.
James Jewell, 796 Timberline Parkway. I want to know why Porter County doesn't have a noise ordinance when our other municipalities do. Portage, Valparaiso, Chesterton, they all have noise ordinances. Porter County doesn't. I live out in South Haven. Across the street from my house is that McDonald's. They're on Route 6, next to the Dairy Queen.
Okay.
They work 3 to 4 days a week. They've got a semi-trailer that sits out there for 2 hours, at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I've gotten them, I think they're doing it now at 8, but still, they're not being a good neighbor. I had to work with their vendors myself to get them to come at different times to pick up their garbage, because they were coming at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and banging that dumpster on the ground. They have a power washer that comes out to clean their vents above the grills. They come at 11, 12 o'clock at night and run a little motor at the back of the building, right into the residential neighborhood. I tried to work with the owner of the CEO of the franchise restaurant group in Portage. His response to me is, I'm zoned not zoned residential, I'm zoned business, so I do not have to be a good neighbor to you. Yeah, his words. I've resorted now to using the health department to deal with them picking up their trash, because see, I lived in this house before they built that McDonald's 30 years ago. And when they rezoned the land, they sent letters to everybody on the block, hey, want to build a McDonald's here, we want to get approval to rezone the land. We make a commitment, we're going to walk down the street and pick up the trash that goes out of our parking lot, once a day. Well, they don't do that. They let it build up, and I call the franchisee and say, hey, your people aren't picking the trash up. So nowhere, to the point I got tired of calling them, and I told them, next time I see the trash out there, I call the health department. Guess what? I saw their managers out there photographing their employees picking the trash out of the field after I called the health department. So this is what kind of businesses we have out in Porter County that don't care about the residential. And my issue with this is, currently, it's up to the police officer's discretion when he goes out to deal with a noise complaint. And if I'm a resident having a radio in my backyard having a party at 1 o'clock in the morning, they're going to come and tell me I got to turn it off. But when they're over there power washing behind McDonald's, too bad. Live with it. That's not a fair, equitable system that the Porter County Sheriff's officer decides if the noise is a problem, instead of the county having an ordinance to control that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually talked to Mr. Jewell twice, I think, on the phone.
Yes.
I talked to the general manager of McDonald's. Evidently, this has been an ongoing feud for many years. As I explained to you, that the reason we don't have a noise ordinance, per se, is those, in order to enforce those, you have to go out and buy equipment. That equipment has to be maintained. Officers have to be trained how to use it.
The city of Portage, the city of Chester, the city of Valparaiso can do it. Why can't Porter County?
I've lived in Chesterton, Jim, for 30 years, and I've never seen or heard about a noise ordinance in Chesterton.
I can tell you that Portage has a noise ordinance, and they do not have the decibel meter to enforce it.
That may be, but my point is still, I'm asking the county to do something about it. I've got a bar that sits over there across the street that'll have their doors open, they have a live band, and their music reverberates at 11 o'clock at night across the highway into the residential neighborhood. How is that fair to us residents if the county isn't going to come up and step up for us when we have problems with businesses in the neighborhood? That's your job as a county, is it not, to deal with the businesses that are being bad businesses?
Well, I've been up here for 5 years, sir, and this is the first time I've ever heard anything like this before. So for me, I know it's new, so
But
I would...
let me ask you this question. Would you like to have your next door neighbor
Oh, no,
have
no.
a semi-truck sit out in front of their house for
I'm
2
not-
hours?
Yeah, no,
3
I'm
days
not...
a week?
Yeah, I'm not...
I mean, that's what I'm
not
talking about.
condoning any bad behavior.
And
I'm
the
just
simple fix
saying...
would be to have that, force them to put up a 6-foot cinder block wall along the backside of their property. A, it would keep the trash in their parking lot, and B, the cinder block would keep the sound somewhat controlled.
Going out there and reviewing that, because you had mentioned that on the phone, that cinder block is going to do nothing to take issue with what you have issue with.
I disagree.
But Jim,
A 6-foot wall would make a difference. But that's I'm just bringing it here.
I think it would be more
I
than-
continue taking this to the state if I have to.
I think they would be more
I've
than...
already reached out to my congressman and my senator about this issue.
I think they would be more than happy, from what I got from them on the telephone, to erect a 6-foot wall if they thought it would solve the problem.
It's lip service, like the lip service they gave me when they said, well, we've called our vendor that comes out and pressure washes and asked them to change the time, and they didn't do it. Then I went out and looked at the name on the side of the truck, and then I went on the internet and found out who the business was, and I called the business. And you know what they told me? No, we never heard of this. This is the first we've heard that there was a problem. We'll gladly change the time we service that building. I had to work with their trash company, their power washer company, and the guy that drains the fluid, the oil out of the building. When it was the business, and they gave me lip service telling me that they contacted the businesses asking them to change it. But yeah, when I did it, they're like, oh, we didn't know, we'll gladly change it. Come on, who's pulling who? And they're just giving you lip service, that they would gladly put up a wall. When the CEO tells me to my face, I don't have to be a good neighbor.
I didn't, I feel, for your situation.
Again, I'm going to come back next month.
I can honestly say that if I were sitting here with, however many years ago that was put in,
again, I'll be back.
Where that was
I'll be
rezoned.
back next month. I'll have this time next month, right? And I'll keep asking until somebody does something about it. And I'm going to start going to the state, because that's what they're there for. It's what I pay taxes for. You guys don't want to go and enforce a noise ordinance, and you leave it in the...
Please don't get the opinion that we don't want,
I just asked the sheriff before this meeting about this very problem, and he acted like there wasn't a problem with that in the county, that his office having the opportunity to make a decision on the field, whether this is a noise problem or not, was perfectly fine with him.
I will continue to speak to the general management of, that manages that particular McDonald's. But, in our positions here, there's a fine line that we have to walk, and being fair to you and also being fair to this business.
So what about the bar across the street that leaves the door open when they have a live band because it's hot inside, and then the music plays out into the neighborhood?
I believe
I was told by a Porter County sheriff that you told the Porter County sheriff, the county attorney, that they were not able to enforce any noise ordinances in Porter County because there wasn't an ordinance in the county. And there's a bar on the outskirts of Valpo that were getting regular calls from the Porter County Sheriff about noise from the bar, and they were given a letter from your office telling them never to make a complaint about noise at that bar because there was no noise ordinance, or this was going to be harassment. It was going to be deemed as harassment.
I'd love to see the letter.
Okay, I'm just telling you what I was told by one of your officers, one of the Porter County Sheriffs told me this.
And you understand, there's like more than 4 of them out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's 60 of them. So all I'm saying is, if there's a letter, I'd love to see it.
Well, I'm just telling you what an officer told me.
And I'm just telling you what I'm saying.
It is hearsay. But an officer who's out there answering a noise complaint told me this, and told me we're not required to do anything about businesses that put noise. So if I go out my backyard and turn my stereo up, you're going to come and tell me, yes. But if the business is doing the music across the street really loud, you're not going to do anything. Yes, that's correct. Because we've been instructed by the county attorney not to. That's what I was told by a Porter County sheriff. Whether it's true or not.
It doesn't matter whether it's true or not, does it?
Because he's representing the county as a sheriff.
When was that?
Last year, when I was complaining about McDonald's and their power washer at 11 o'clock at night.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I've never done such a letter.
Okay, but I'm telling you,
if there is a letter, I'd love to see it.
Representative of Porter County, a sheriff, who I'm supposed to trust, told me this when I was complaining about...
You have the officer's name?
It was a year ago, so I don't remember that.
I believe that business you're talking about, I believe, is shut down.
Which one?
The one you said had its doors open.
No, I'm talking about the one next to...
What's the name of it?
Sportsman's Inn. It's open, and when they have a live band on the weekend and it gets hot inside, they open the doors. And the music comes out across the street and into all that residential neighborhood right there. And if we had a noise ordinance, then the officers would have the right to go out and do something about it.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say about all this, you are the only one I have received, and I'm not making light in what you're alleging. You are the only complaint that I've received.
Yeah, but I complained to your office for 6 months and never got a call back from you. Left voicemails in your voicemail for 6 months and never heard from you. So whether or not you've not got those messages, I don't know, but you're saying this first you've never heard
Jim,
of.
I talked to you.
You did tell me that.
Time out.
Secretary told her that I was going to call you.
Time out. I've called you twice.
Yes.
I've called the general manager of McDonald's twice. Talked to her twice on the phone, okay? Now, if you were leaving phone messages on my phone that I didn't return for 6 months, then why all of a sudden did I felt compelled to call you?
Because I called and spoke to the commissioner's secretary and told her I was calling the state of Indiana about this problem if I didn't hear back from you. And then she called you.
And that was supposed to light a fire under me?
And that said, she sent you an email, and then you called me.
No, it had nothing,
Okay.
it had nothing to do with it. I don't have messages on my phone. I'll hand walk you in there right now, there isn't a single one on there. I don't leave messages unanswered on my phone for 6 months.
Well, I'm telling you that I left 2 messages over a 6-month period, and no one returned them.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's a business, they are allowed to operate within that zoning, okay? I understand that some part of that is annoying to you.
No, it's annoying to...
It is, I am curious, I'm not receiving that any from your neighbors.
There are 3 retired people on that street, and soon to be a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to put up with this noise? It's all right, as soon as I get home today, I'm going to be calling my state people too about this, because you guys need to...
I don't answer to the state of Indiana.
No,
Okay,
but-
this board don't.
That's fine, but they can start trying to maybe there's something they can do to put some heat into this issue.
Well, great.
Maybe they can write a state law.
Super if they can. But I think your commissioner's office is trying to help you if you allow that.
Okay, I'm asking for you to put forth a noise ordinance in the county of Fort. That was my question to the board. Will you please give us a...
Well, I can put that into a motion, but I can tell you right now, I'm not in the business of creating ordinances that aren't enforceable. That may look good on paper, but it's simply not, it's not logical. There's other state laws that the officers can use if the noise is truly that bad. Like walking into the business and telling them, shut the door. We don't have to create an ordinance where we've got to go out and spend a bunch of the taxpayers' money.
Without an ordinance, it's up to each individual Porter County sheriff to make his own decision as to what is being...
That's exactly right.
And that's wrong. It shouldn't be up...
Well, then...
You've got 60 officers.
Jim.
You just said this,
Jim.
right? You now have 60 officers.
Yes.
And 60 people, do you think they all have the same opinion about what is too noisy?
No, but every single law that they enforce is up to their individual discretion as to whether or not it's been broken.
Well, I disagree there, but...
Well,
that's all right.
I'm sitting here with a master's degree in public safety administration. What's your degree?
I served my country.
Well, okay, good, but it's not law enforcement, Jim. And I'm telling you that those laws it's up to the discretion of the officer whether or not it's
And
in
then when it goes
violation.
to court, and if the officer made a mistake, that gets thrown out, and then that officer's in a lot of trouble, and a big hassle for the county.
We'll discuss, our board will discuss whether or not there's any...
And I'll come back next month and ask what you decided.
Okay, fine. And I encourage you to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, who's next? Come forward and give your name and your address and let us know.
Walk all the way up there?
Yeah,
Can
please.
you hear me?
Yeah.
It's not about us hearing, it's about the recording, getting you on the...
See that microphone up there? That's what we're trying to get to.
Or this one right in front of you.
Or the one right in front of you, right there. Your name and address.
Or you
Thank
can take a seat if it's easier.
My name is Diane Bates. I live in Jackson Township. About a year ago, maybe more, I started trying to get yellow lines back in county roads because we're all getting older and this is a safety issue. Now, I did call the highway department. In fact, actually, I talked to Andy Bozak before, about a year ago, and he talked to the highway guy, and they all were in agreement that this was a good idea. I don't see anything yet. If any of you guys have tried to travel Tratibus Road at night, and it's ugly. So, I want to know where that stands. You guys heard anything about it at all?
Well, we speak about, painting our roads,
Mhm.
the center line or the sideline. It all, honestly, it all comes down to...
Money.
Yes.
I know.
And
But this is really important.
and those roads that are most often traveled are those roads who get the first. But I'm very familiar with Tratibus. It's extremely dark. I used to own property.
It is. It's extremely dark,
Very dark.
right?
Very dark.
And I'm on 250, and that's just, though the last time they did it, they made a royal mess out of that. And I'm the first one that calls the highway department and says, man, you guys got an attaboy, that was really great. They didn't do it this time, somebody else did the roads, and it was not good, just for your feedback. But the yellow lines are important. And just recently, when I talked to the highway department, said, where does this stand? I haven't heard anything. Well, we did the road, so now we have to wait a year and put something else on them, and then we'll put the lines on. Well, that's not helping all these people that are getting older and older driving these roads. I'm really concerned about it, so.
Rich just stepped in, our highway superintendent. Rich, do you have anything to add to this?
Deal is we double check the seal it. If we want to stripe it this year, it would cost about $1,500 a mile. I don't think it'd be a good choice to go back and stripe it, or go stripe it, then come back single seal next year. It's going to be done early next spring, so Chester, but then stripe over it again, it costs $3,000.
Okay.
$3,000 a mile?
A mile. Single seal chip and seals we're going to do for next year, that costs about $3,000 to $5,000, so. Or I could do a mile with something else for $3,000, that's why I don't want to come to strike something like that, and just cover it back up.
Is there something temporary we could do, like those yellow things they throw down and pick up again? I mean, anything would help.
With temporary yellow tape then, it also holds us liable because it's going to be a passing zone, and their approach was to no passing zone, so if we come out and put temporary tape up, it'll mark it as a passing zone, and we don't want to create any more confusion than we already have what we have.
Okay, I understand what he's saying, but we have a safety issue here, and I think it needs to be addressed in some way, somehow. I mean, I'm not going to say, you got to have a yellow line there and that's it. If there's another way to do it, great.
Are you talking specifically Travis? Are you talking all of our
I
county
live
roads?
well, actually, all the county roads, they're not being striped, and, hey, some are worse than others, and I drive some more than others.
We just got done doing a little over 30
This,
miles.
it's
We just got done doing a little over 30 miles to the east.
striping them? Well, I guess I'm not in your area.
Well, we have 816 miles.
Yeah, I know, and
And
it's a big expense, but we can't just quit doing it.
No, and I agree.
And you know what's worse? What's worse is, if you come down 1050, Chesterton has annexed down to 200. I'm on 250. So you leave a beautifully done road with all the white on the sides and the yellow down the middle, and you hit a county road where you see nothing.
Well, I could give you some indications in other towns around here where it's the opposite. So I hear what
Okay, I'm only
you're saying.
going by where I go home.
But
And
we're
my neighbor's
responsible
sitting
for the
right
whole
there.
county. We're responsible for the whole county.
Yeah, I understand that.
And, I know in the past up here, up until several years ago, there wasn't a real onus on striping and other things, and I know as we've come out the last couple of years, we've been more aggressive trying to do it, but when you're behind for 15 years and you're not doing it, and then you decide to go out
Yeah.
and do it, it's going to take you a while to get caught up, and we only have limited funds in our budget to do so much. So I can see where your frustration is, but I also know that we're in the process of trying to step this up and get this a little bit better, and if you have an interim situation that we need to go back out and take a look at, then I think that's what we have to do, and
Yeah.
go from there.
Well, number one, I would not, several years ago, have even bothered with that. It wouldn't have bothered me. But now it's becoming scary, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, I understand our county problem, I do. And my neighbor right there came with me to reinforce this.
Well,
Good neighbor.
What we will promise you is that, as Mr. Sexton pointed out, once we come in the spring and it's sealed at, I'll get the brightest colored yellow we can find.
Promise?
Promise, and we'll get it on the side of the roads.
Well, then we wait another year.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, right.
I'll let Rich decide.
I'm colorblind. But
Okay.
we promise you, and just please be, we'd go out there today if we
I know,
could do it.
I know. I started on this over a year ago. I started with Sylvia and Andy, and, they said, why don't you come here? I said, okay, it's been going on 2 years.
Well, I know
now.
I've never gotten a call from Andy Bozick in my life, so
No,
I would know if there
he
was...
did not talk to you guys. He talked to the highway guy, and I can't remember his
Well,
name.
we're responsible for the highway department and their budget.
Yeah,
So-
and I was told, basically just what he said. You have to wait a year. Okay, well, I guess I gotta go tell you guys at least.
No, I know, is there a temporary solution there, and he addressed that, and there's really not, so, no, you should have showed up here, it's great that you showed up here, trust me, come this spring, it's gonna be taken care of, okay?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, you guys, I know where you guys are.
She gonna find you.
I know where they are.
I like that.
Good.
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else wishing to take a piece of our hide?
And everything was going so well.
Oh, I hate it, it's part of it.
I hated to follow.
No, I wasn't actually talking about
Rich is
you.
giving you his card, and he's the head of the highway department, so.
Yeah, well, now you have a card. Well, without anybody else coming forward, this board stands in recess.